Hello everybody and welcome again to another F1 2020 video. We are with the ARG Championship round 5 in Azerbaijan, Baku, and what a track this is. And we have a cracking race for you this evening, full of drama, full of issues, but yeah, some very good racing. So let's jump into my fastest lap in qualifying 3. It is a full qualifying format. We had a few issues in the first couple of qualifying sessions, but we managed to make it through okay. But we come to the dying moments of Q3, and we'll jump on board with me on my fast lap now. I haven't had much practice at this track prior to this league race, not as much as I would have wanted. Only had a quick couple of goes the previous evening. As we come into this middle sector though, we got Braid Train getting in the way, only just gets out the way of us in time, which would be really annoying because we're in third and currently 6.5 tenths up on our fastest lap. So very lucky there, he managed to see us at the last moment. But yeah, I've only really got a basic setup. It felt pretty good in time trial, but I didn't have any goes at it in Grand Prix mode or online, so I didn't know what it really felt like. And I've come into this session, it felt very understeery, so I've had to add one click of front wing, which isn't ideal. Needs a bit more work on it, but the car's feeling okay. We just got to keep it out the walls. But on this lap, you can see we're getting a nice run out. We're nearly 7 tenths up on our previous best. So let's see, is this going to snatch us pole position right in the dying seconds of the session? It's ridiculously long straight up to the line. What's it going to be? It puts us 0.02 of a second behind the fastest lap of the session so far, which is our teammate Bowlboy. Unbelievable, such a close battle, but he has a 5-place grid penalty, which will be sorted by the stewards afterwards. So we're starting on pole position. So 5 lights, and away we go. And it's a pretty cautious start. Get a little bit of wheel spin in the latter phases, and I don't try and defend too hard to the Ferrari at the inside. I just want to get through in one piece, but we got virtual safety car straight away, and I nearly end up overcooking it anyway behind the Ferrari, a bit blinded on my braking point. So we pop to a replay now. I'm leading the championship, currently level on points with Vasdal in the Mercedes, and Vicky, the other Mercedes driver, is not far behind. So they've not done well. They're both out in Q2, so they're starting further back on harder tyres. So realistically, I just want to keep ahead as far as much as I can and gain as many points over them as I can. So I'm not too bothered at this point about losing the lead. But as we go green flag racing now, halfway through the lap, we start managing to pull away from Just Jordan behind us reasonably well. Get a couple more retirements further down in the castle section as expected during this race, but as you see, Bosco nearly puts it in the wall. He's looking decidedly shaky on those cold tyres at this early stage of the race. So I'm feeling pretty confident now. I've closed right up to the back of him once again. This is an awful long straight, so I'm going to get a nice slipstream, and I reckon I'm going to go for a move and get this lead back once more. So we're going to use quite a bit of battery, put it up into Rich. Nice slipstream, and we're going to sail past with that extra overspeed into the lead once more of the race. And as we brake hard into turn 1, we get the safety car is out. First one of this evening. Not surprising really, but there we go. We skip ahead to lap 4 and we are ready to restart the race once more. Just got that overtake done in time before the safety car. But let's see if we can hold on to that position. Now we're racing once more, but I decided to go halfway down the straight, and I get a nice jump over Bosco in the Ferrari behind me, which is absolutely ideal. And coming into the first corner, the guys behind Bosco, he's under attack from Just Jordan in the Williams, so that's helping me pull a bit of a gap, and I've already pulled a 1.5 second gap. And as we go down the straight, it's only extending because they're too busy battling each other, and is now up to 1.8 seconds. But I know there's bound to be more safety cars in this race, so I don't want to push too hard. I don't want to waste my tyres getting a massive gap just to have it ruined by the safety car at any stage. So let's just keep it neat and tidy. Obviously going purple being the first flying lap now of the race. Into the awkward tussle section, and we lock up and nearly go straight on. Lucky to get away with that. Drops us a few tenths. In through here. I do love driving through this section. It's just a great feeling when you do get it hooked up. Absolutely wonderful. Very difficult to take and very easy to put it in the wall and ruin your race though. Difficult to spot braking point into the left-hander, but we get that done okay. Gap's still 1.5 seconds, so pretty happy with that. We just want to keep it at that. I don't want to extend too much. Like I say, don't want to chew into these tyres too quickly. But we've got pretty decent straight line speed on this race. The setup we're using, like I say, is not ideal. It's not perfect. It feels a bit understeery, but it gives us really quite good rear end traction, and it does actually feel pretty good. But as we come across the line at the end of the lap, all of a sudden safety car is back out once more, and it takes absolutely forever to come back in. I decide not to pit, but it took longer than I thought, and the guys behind me did pit on the soft, so I am now on very old soft compound tyres on lap 9 now. My tyres are around 65-70%. And I think I'm going to struggle at this point. I've got Toxic Toast behind me on mediums and the rest on hard compound tyres. So let's just try get a couple of laps. This has been a big mistake from myself. I should have pitted, but I chose not to. Let's see what we can manage. We can pull a bit of a gap as we decide to go now. Pretty much the same place we went last time. And again, we pull a nice gap on the chap behind. We're getting good at these restarts now from the lead. As we come into the first corner, our tyre wear is really starting to show now. And we nearly lose it and putting it in the wall. Managed to catch hold of it, keep the lead. But the Red Bull is all over the back of us. You can see the understeer now as well. So it's not just the front, it's the rear. So we go as we check. 71% on the rear right. Not happy at all, and I'm a bit frustrated at myself because I think I've thrown away this race victory.
Affirmative. Medium tyres at the next stop.
As we come through the middle sector now, you can see he's all over us, but we're going to have a little bit of a fast forward now. Despite that, we're still managing to hold on to the lead. Okay, he's not making any desperate lunges up the inside. He's not close enough to do so. We're just keeping it in lean to run as best we can. A couple more retirements behind us, and that brings out the virtual safety car. Wish it had been just that little bit later and I could have come into the pits and benefited from that. But we're going to go on to the medium compound tyres. I reckon we can make them last till the end of the race, especially if we get more virtual safety cars and more safety cars even. It's bound to happen at Baku. So let's come into the pits now, get on some fresh mediums, and I'm dreading. Let's see what the damage really is as everybody goes flying past us on the start finish straight. On to fresh mediums, 2.6 seconds, pretty reasonable stop from the lads at Racing Point. And a few other people pit, which helps us as well. But we've come out 11th place now, and most people in front of us have already pitted and probably won't need to stop for the rest of the race. So not looking good. I've thrown away a race victory. Let's skip ahead. End of lap 12 now. We're setting pretty good, reasonable times. We're catching on Aiden in front of us, but we have the safety car deployed. My teammate is out this race, so that helps us somewhat. Brings us up the pack. We're in P7 thanks to retirements and a couple more people pitting for fresh wings. But as we come around the corner on lap 14, there's a big pile up in front of us, and we end up completely blinded by it, then get rear-ended ourselves, which is absolutely, understandable, and that gives us a 5-second penalty for a collision, and also we've lost most of our front wing, and I'm super annoyed at that. Absolutely disgraceful driving. Whatever happened, up ahead. I'm not sure whether somebody got brake checked or what, but there's no genuine reason for a pile up underneath the safety car. And not only have I fallen foul of that, quite a few other people have as well, and that's my only real saving grace right now. You can see it's an orange front wing, bad damage. We've got no choice. Rain is possibly on the way. Jeff tells us that it is possibly about 5 minutes away. We contemplate staying out and risking it, but we might as well come in. And, you know, we got the safety car anyway. We might as well come in. We're going to serve our 5-second penalty. Yeah, just super, super frustrated at it, really. Very, very annoyed. We have to wait 5 seconds now for a penalty. Very unfair penalty. Then we end up having to wait for front wing change. And this is just a painful process. But we get going once again. And we come out in 12th spot. So not the end of the world. But still super frustrating. So let's fast forward while we come back out. We can see everyone is starting to bunch up, so hopefully the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. We just try to warm our tyres up a bit, trying to catch up quickly as we can, while trying to keep a bit of a gap to the chap in front. We don't want to be too close under the safety car because of incidents that happened exactly as we found out a lap ago. But as we come into the last sector now, safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap. Very happy with that indeed. We've got a nice gap to the Ferrari, but not too much that we're not going to be able to rejoin. But if you watch up ahead, the Williams in front of the Ferrari decides to go very slowly through the corner, which stops the Ferrari, and he just stops dead in the middle of the corner and blocking us in. And Vicky behind us again comes back, gives us the tiniest of touches and gives us another 5-second penalty. And I cannot believe what is going on in this race. I'm absolutely furious because we have another penalty. Fortunately, we don't have any damage, but I don't know what was going on there. Why they were just stopped in the middle of the corner. But nevertheless, let's get our head down. We're on lap 15. We're in 11th place and see what we can manage. Rain is likely to come very soon, as I said earlier. So we'll see what we can do. We get a pretty reasonable restart. We get a nice run on the Williams in front of us. I have a half think of going up the inside, but decide better of it, and then I've compromised my line and Vicky manages to go round the outside. But we've got problems up ahead. Just Jordan has gone into the wall, has lost a bit of his front wing. There's all sorts of connection issues, meaning two cars are sort of riding on top of one another. But as we come out the corner, we see our first glimpse of a little bit of rain, and the track temperature is dropping already. And we're starting to find it's getting a little bit more slippery. We see a few more spots of rain. Still obviously dry weather tyres, but it is going to be treacherous and it's going to get worse. But the guys up ahead, they're all fighting, 4 of them, all fighting for position. So let's see if we can capitalise on this. As we manage to go up the inside of Vicky, who's running very slowly. Get all sorts out of shape in front of us. We nearly get a run on Vazdal, our championship rival that we've now caught back up with after the problems earlier on, but not quite. Into the castle section, you can see it is getting very slippery very quickly through this lap, up through the castle section. Absolutely treacherous in normal conditions, but now even more so. And the guys in front, they're really struggling, but I'm feeling pretty good. Even though it is super slippery, I'm feeling pretty good in these conditions. The Williams goes into the wall. Vazdal gets the position, which is not ideal for me. But it's got all sorts of problems. Again, the William goes into the wall. Vazdal puts too much power down and spins it, putting it in the wall, which is ideal for me in the championship. Now the Williams runs straight on. We go up the inside, and we've got a good couple of positions now. So we're back up into P6. So it is all going on in this race. Coming out onto the start-finish straight. Braid Train goes into the wall, gets it wrong, nearly takes us out, but we managed to get up the inside. Vicky is following us through as well. We wanted it, so we decided to back off a little bit and let Vicky through. No point fighting him. I'd rather run behind him, but he decides he doesn't want to. He's gone into the pits, presumably got a bit of damage. Or even trying to go onto the intermediate tyres. I think a few people are pitting for intermediates, but I don't think it's time just yet. It is super slippery though, and it is getting more and more slippery with every corner that we come across. But let's just take a bit of a breath and a bit of a step back for the minute. Let's just keep it nice and steady as we break into this corner we lock up and get away with it, but it is getting very slippery now. Nearly time for intermediate tyres, so I'm thinking at the end of this lap we might just do that. Coming through the middle sector now, just trying to keep it on the road really. It's super slippery. You can see every single corner we get to, it suddenly is raining a little bit more, and the guys in front of us are really suffering, and we are catching them like there is no tomorrow. We're in P4 thanks to a couple of people pitting in front of us for inters up through the castle section. Let's not bin it now. Jeff's suggesting going on to inters. Little bit of twitch of the back end, but we managed to catch it. Up through this fast corner. Easy flat in the dry, but we're a bit wary now because of the conditions. In this corner, Scooby Stu manages to lose his front wing on the barrier. We nearly lose the back end as well, but we're okay. We've got away with it. Then the AlphaTauri spins, and we get a better run then as well on the Alfa Romeo, who's run wide. And we're going to try and go up the inside, and we managed to just before the start-finish straight, which is absolutely ideal. But I think this is definitely time for intermediate tyres. I think we're going to pit this lap. Yeah, confirmation. We're going to pit this lap. It is definitely time for intermediate tyres. It is getting so slippery out there. We've managed to capitalise quite a lot by keeping it on the road and keeping a good pace. We only just get the car slowed down in time, but unfortunately we're going to have to serve this other 5-second penalty as well, which is just super frustrating. As we come out the pits now, we actually managed somehow, we are in P2. Believe it or not, our pace right at the end there was so good that we didn't get anyone jump us. We've got Aiden behind us, 1.1 seconds behind, and Toxic Toast in the Red Bull, 5 seconds up the road. At this point, I cannot believe that I am this far up the road in terms of position. So after everything that has gone on, I cannot believe that we've had the pace to work our way this far up the grid. It's helped with a few people having incidents and that, but you make your own luck in this game, and certainly now the wet weather conditions are coming in. We're feeling pretty confident, pretty good. Frankly, I don't care about the win. I just want to finish in this position, but we're going to drive not quite as fast as we can. We're going to sort of hold it back, just drive at sort of 90%. And just keep it on the road, just keep this position. So if Aiden behind me starts attacking me, we're gonna just let him go. But he hasn't got the pace in us. We start pulling a gap, and we start catching the Red Bull in front of us. And we come on to lap 19 now. You can see the gaps. With the laps that are rolling by, we are slowly reining in this Red Bull in front of us. It's a little bit of give and take. We're quicker in some areas, certainly the first and middle sector we tend to be a bit quicker, and then the last sector we lose a little bit of time through. Certainly through the tricky castle section we are a lot quicker than as well. On to the end of lap 24 now. You can see we are only half a second behind the Red Bull. This is the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and I can smell a victory. Let's try and put him under a little bit of pressure and see if he makes a mistake. He's held on so well so far. He's done incredibly well, but I'm greedy. I want this win now. I've smelt a victory. I'm not going to make any silly moves, but we're going to get a nice run on him down the back straight. Are we going to look at the inside? No, we're not, but we're going to let him know that we are there, and you can see it's working. He is starting to struggle. He's starting to realise we're there, and he is feeling the pressure. He's running over a little bit too much curb. We lose the back end a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. We're not going to make a pass through this section unless he makes a mistake. And then coming into this right-hander, that is exactly what he does. He gets too much wheel spin and nearly spins it and puts it in the wall, but that gives us the opportunity we need to sail through for the victory. Absolutely beautiful. And I just want to show you how difficult these conditions are through the castle section. You've got to be so careful. It's like threading a needle. And fair play to everyone that finished the race in these conditions and kept it on the track, because it's not easy whatsoever. But we are on to the final lap of the race. We've pulled near a 1.8 second gap to the Red Bull behind us just in the latter half of that lap. and we are gonna take this one. It never seemed likely, apart from the first stint, it never seemed likely that we were ever going to get a win. We were just trying to recover back what we could. It's been such an awful race for us and many others, but we have benefited from a few people's misfortunes, but the pace has been so strong in the dry conditions, and now, especially in the wet, we've been unstoppable. Let's just keep it neat and tidy on this last lap. I'm just going to run through this whole last lap to show you guys how difficult it was. I wouldn't blame anyone for wanting to go on the full wets. I think you could have put on the full wets and probably set the same lap times at this point. It was a little bit debatable. Through the castle sector, again, taking it very steady. It is just getting wetter and wetter at this point. But we got that car hooked up very nicely. I want to remind you that we are with a dry setup. We're not using a wet setup whatsoever. This is purely aimed at a dry setup. Our recording doesn't work at the end of this lap. It does skip in a second or two. It's a bit of a shame. We do catch coming onto the line though. Yeah, there we go. We skip forward a little bit. We're just coming on to the start-finish straight now. Just keep it neat and tidy. We've got a 2.6 second gap behind us. And we have those 10 seconds worth of penalties that we are going to try and get removed after the race, just in case as well. But we're going to take the line and take the victory in this race. That is first place. Absolutely unbelievable. Couldn't have predicted that one. It's just been a topsy-turvy race, but we've held our nerve and we've seen it through, and we have won. And I believe our championship rivals, Vazdal, crashed out of this race, so he got no points. Vicky in second only got 1 point. He was finished in 10th place, and our teammate unfortunately crashed out as well. So we have extended our lead in the championship very nicely indeed. I could not have asked for a better race at all. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this one. If you could please like and subscribe, that would be brilliant. But until next time, bye bye.